Oh man, it was a great day. It's fun to get out there. A lot of new things that were happening. When you think about new defense, several new coaches, and 22 transfers and 14 high school guys. I mean, so it was fun to see. That was great energy. Guys stayed off the ground, practice at a high level. There's a lot of really good things out here today. I was excited to see the new defense, man. In action today, and it was good. There was a lot of good stuff. Got to learn where everybody's at, though. A lot of new numbers, a lot of new players in different positions. But overall, it was a great day. Obviously something to build off of day one.
On a day like today, are you looking for anything specific out of your quarterbacks just to see where they're at or where you need to work on?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously the first day you're throwing against the defense, seeing where decision making, I think, is the key for us. When we go back and watch the film, did you make the proper reads, proper decisions? It's a hard day for offenses like today when you don't have shoulder pads on because the defense is all anxious. We can't really block them hard. So you take that with a grain of salt. But I think more than anything, it's decision making, accuracy, where they throw the football. And then on the outside, hey, what receivers made plays? Did you make some catches? You test some catches? Did you make all your catches? Those are the kind of things you're looking for out here on day one.
When you assess the tape next week during spring break, what are kind of the top keys you're looking for out of the whole roster?
There's a lot of teaching going on right now. When you think about this time of year, we're in March. A lot of new players, some new scheme. So we're trying to teach what we want out of the guys. We're trying to coach to a standard. The guys know what the standard is. For us as coaches, we dip below it. We got to let everybody know, and hopefully the players can help with that as well. So it's just doing things right. I think obviously emphasizing turnover margin and explosive plays. On both sides of the ball. That's the two things we really want to harp on this spring. And then all the little things that make those things happen. So that's what we're looking for. That's what we're grading on as we go throughout the spring.
Is there a certain defensive player with a lot of positional flexibility that you're most excited to see kind of fit in the specific?
I think there's several guys that have that. I think one that comes to mind is MJ Cano, just got here. I think he can play 4 or 5 different positions. I think JT is a guy who's been on our team, but I think he can play multiple positions at the linebacker level.
Jonathan Thompson.
Yeah, and he's a guy who's been here, but MJ's a guy who's just got here. But I also think there's some guys in the secondary that we brought in. We're trying to find a spot for those guys. I think ultimately who's the best 11, and then who's the best 11 in what situation that we're in. Third and short may be a different, third and long may be a different group of guys. Who can create pass rush. I think is one thing we want to emphasize too, getting after the passer. So those things over 15 practices, we'll learn a lot over these guys. It's hard to know right now.
Yeah.
Is there a kind of key factor you found to installing a new defense throughout your head coaching career? Obviously, your focus is on the offensive side. Do you kind of let the defensive coordinator kind of let them play that out how they want to? Do you have a lot of input in that? How's that work?
No, I certainly have input on it. I think Coach Woody's a veteran coach, been doing it a long time, and of course, having been with him before, knows what he's doing. And I think for anything, it's like anything else, man. You have to have a great foundation. So you have to have a solid foundation. So we were keeping it very simple initially, defensively, not doing a whole lot of things. Basically, one defense, and with a couple little wrinkles in the secondary. But let's get good at that and that foundation. We'll always come back to that, and then once we get that in, obviously we only have 15 practices. We're going to have to build off of it as we go through, but it'll be slow. It'll be a slow build. It's all about the foundation, getting guys lined up, doing things with the technique they're supposed to do it.
I don't know if you saw, but TNT listed Daniel James as a starting point guard for the basketball team yesterday or 2 days ago in Fort Worth. He looked pretty good out there today.
Yeah.
What do you think his ceiling is? As a guy who hasn't gotten a ton of snaps.
No, he hasn't. He's got a lot of potential. I think our job as coaches is to try to get that out of him. He can run. He's got good size. It's good what we got going on in the secondary right now. I thought today we're going to have some 1-on-1 and some 7-on-7 reps. I thought he did outstanding for the first time. I thought they were in good position. Had the opportunity to make some interceptions today. They didn't. They knocked a bunch of them down. We got to get the ball picked off, and he was one of them as well, DJ. So. I think the main thing is we're in good position to make those plays. Now let's come through and make them. That's one thing I thought stood out today. A lot of balls that were up in the air where our guys could have gotten, and we did have one interception. We want to come away with more picks.
The turnover factor, is there, with the lack of turnovers over the last 2 years, do you guys kind of scrape your teach techniques a little bit, kind of comb through that and try to add some stuff or take some stuff away? How does that evaluation look as coaches?
Yeah, I mean, it's a different scheme. Like, you know, what we're doing now is a different scheme, and so it all starts with how can you affect the offense.
Okay.
So particularly the quarterback. So, you know, part of getting turnovers is making that quarterback do something he don't want to do. And I think for us to try to create pressure on the quarterback, a lot of different ways, we've got to be able to do that. And then it's being in the right position in the back end to get some of those interceptions that we just talked about. But also, you got to get a bunch of hats to the football, no matter what they're doing, and get those hats on the ball. And I think that's another way. But I think more than anything, we got to be aggressive. And that's what we're going to work on this spring, be an aggressive defense.
Are there any other younger guys like Daniel James you see stepping into a bigger role as the spring moves forward?
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of young guys, I think, that have an opportunity to go make a big impact this year. A bunch of them on the offensive line, several guys I think that hadn't maybe played a whole lot, that it's time for them to step up and play. You know, you think about Gio, young receiver, it's going to have a huge role. Daniel, you know, I just think some of these guys that have been here for a year, 2 years, maybe they haven't played as much, it's their time to show what they can do, and I'm excited about them. This will be a huge spring for those guys, and there's a long list of those type guys. I mean, 20, 25 of those guys that I think can have a huge impact on our team this year.
Is Terran Tile leader in the clubhouse for center right now?
Yeah, I mean, we're probably working three or four guys that, you know, I think right now, if we started out, he'd be a starting center for us. You know, Evan's going to get reps at center as well. You know, we're just going to see. I mean, I think, you know, certainly Tayo is a great guard, but also can play center. He's got great versatility right there. That's another thing that we'll work on throughout the spring.
And then right tackle, is it down to Judea and
Nolan? Yeah, Nolan. Yeah, I think those two have gotten the most reps there.
Okay.
Xavier's going to probably get some reps at tackle as well as guard. I think he's a swing guy. You know, Joe's not getting team reps right now. He's just getting individual stuff, so which is good. These other guys are going to get their reps. I think Judea's had a great offseason, the best offseason he's had since he's been here. Really moving well. It's his time to shine. I mean, you know, he's been here. It's time to play now, Judea. Time to go, buddy. You know, but Nolan, I'll tell you, he's pushing him, and is a guy who's got great potential and great size. Excited about what those guys can do. I think we're going to need both of them.
JC French, 6'1", 205.
Yeah.
Is that the playing weight that you guys want him to be at? I know Sorsby last couple of years playing around 235, so a little bit heavier.
You know, I don't really necessarily look at the weight. You know, you know, your height's what it is. You know, there's been a lot of good players that are maybe shorter compared to taller. So I think more than anything, it comes down to decision making for the quarterback, taking care of the football, putting the hands of the playmakers, and let them go to work. And I think that's more than anything. He's plenty big. 6'1", 205 is plenty big. You know, adequate size. He's a solid runner. Can move around pretty good. So it's for all of them. Throwing catchable footballs, taking care of the ball.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks.